Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing alternates 2 and 3 for the Expressions in Color June 2021 Paper Pumpkin Kit. Let's get started. For this Expressions in Color alternate, I'm starting with a piece of basic white that I have cut with a stitched rectangle die, and you'll notice that the die cut is smaller. So I ran it through the machine once and then moved my die over and ran it through again to cut off about 1/4 of an inch. So let me put that die out of the way. And then I've got my floral stamp from Expressions in Color and a bumblebee ink pad. That's one of the 2 colors that you received in this month's kit. And I'm just going to stamp off. My ink pad is very juicy, and I do want a lighter bumblebee color in the background. Okay, and then let's close up my bumblebee. And I've got Evening Evergreen, and we're going to use it to stamp the sentiment. Okay, that's good and inky. And then let's line up my stitched rectangle here and stamp right over top of the floral. And I'm a little cattywampus there. Okay, let's move these out of the way, and we're really ready to start and assemble our card. So I've got that bumblebee card base from the June kit, and my silicone craft mat and craft sheet and a sponge dauber. And let me put down some multi-purpose glue. Just want to make sure I've got enough of that on my mat. And then I've used another stitched rectangle to cut one of the vellum layers to create a frame. And I'm just going to add some adhesive to this with my sponge dauber, and we're just brushing a very thin layer of this all the way around. And this will stick our vellum frame down where the adhesive will be invisible. Okay, so let's put this, line that up with my grid paper. Make sure I've got an even space all the way around. And then let's rub this down. Okay, we want to move our craft sheet and dauber out of the way. Next, I've got a piece of bumblebee that I've cut with the same stitched rectangle, and then I've embossed it with the greenery embossing folder that has leaves all over. Now both our dies and the embossing folder will fit through the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss. I just want to make sure that this layer is going to be well supported. When you emboss your cardstock, it does soften it. Okay, and again we're going to line this up and put this in our frame. Okay, and then I need our sentiment piece here, and let's put some dimensionals on the back of that. we're going to double them on this end. Let me make sure that, yes, I've got the correct end of the word. And before we put that down, I want to tie a bow with the evening evergreen twine that was in the kit. And I am going to double that up, and so that we have 2 loops on each side, and just pull that around and then pull 1 string through. Okay, let me grab my scissors here and cut my twine. Okay, and finish pulling my loop closed. And then let's take those out of the way and grab, oops, the mini glue dots and my take your pick. And we're going to add a glue dot to the back here, and that'll hold that in place. And let's just put this, leave this on our pick for a minute. And again, line this up with the grid paper and pop this down on one end. And then before I push that other end down, I want to check the placement for my bow so that we're on there. Okay, and there's another alternate for the June 2021 paper pumpkin kit. Let me clean up and I'll have a second one for you today. For this second card, I'm going to start with a piece of basic white and my polished pink ink pad. And the first thing that I wanted to do is stamp my sentiment. So I'm just setting it on my ink pad and making sure it picks up enough ink. And then let's give this a rub all the way across. And now I've got the single flower. And I'm just going to do 3 of those. So let's take my ink pad out of the way and grab my scissors. And then we're going to use our snips and cut out the 3 flowers. I do like to leave a little bit of white border around these. They'll pop a little more when you're leaving a border. Okay, and we'll cut this one off. And I'll just speed up this part of the video after telling you make sure you're turning your paper and not your scissors as you do your fussy cutting. And next, I'm going to take the double oval punch and slide my sentiment right down in here and line it up, give it a squeeze and make sure that everything looks even, and then give it the final punch. Okay, and then I want to work on these flowers just a moment. To do that, I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat. I've got it so that it fits in one of the stamp cases, and then I've got the large ball end of my take your pick, and I just want these to stand up a little bit, so I'm giving them a little just circular motion, and that brings them right up. So let's take all of this out of the way. And then next, I've used the Bark 3D embossing folder, and I've embossed a piece of basic white. See that lovely texture? And we are ready to put our card together. So I've got a polished pink card base, and which is 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. I've got my inside layer of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. And let's just adhere that in here so that we have a finished inside. Give that a rub, and then I need my dimensionals for the bark layer. Now when you use the bark embossing folder, any of the 3D embossing folders, you will need the specialty plate so that you get that lovely deep impression from the folder. And this folder does require the full-size Stampin' Cut and Emboss because of its size. Okay, and then I've got a piece of basic white that is 2 3/4 by 4 3/8, and then a piece of one of the alcohol ink card fronts, and this is 2 5/8 by 4 1/4. And I'm just going to adhere these together with multi-purpose glue. And this gives just a little plain white border around this. And now we need some more dimensionals. Okay. This piece of the alcohol ink card front is left over from my first alternate, so I will have gotten multiple cards out of that piece. Okay, and then next I've got this leafy piece that was in the kit, and I'm just going to cut that apart into 3 sections, and we're going to use it like that. Let's add some dimensionals to the back of our sentiment. And then let's arrange these 3 pieces in my hand. Make sure I haven't made them too wide for this. And then I'm going to turn them over and just add adhesive down near the bottom of each one of these pieces. Whoops, good. And get this little stem in here. I like to keep them held together because then I put them down in the shape that I wanted. Okay. Turn them back over. And I want this little spriggy do to, and by leaving the ends free, they you get a little more texture from them. Okay, and then next I've got some of the polished pink open weave ribbon, and let's just measure out how much of this I want. So I folded it back on itself, and I'm just going to give this a little angle cut. And then for our purposes today, this is just too wide, so I'm going to use my scissors and cut this in half, which means that you've got enough of this ribbon to do a second card from the same piece. Okay, put my scissors away and put this piece out of the way, and then we're just going to double that back again, and I'm going to add my glue dot to the back of this, a couple little glue dots to the back of this. Okay, that just picks them right up from the, okay, set that down, and then put our sentiment on. And see, we get that just little pop of color there. And then let me grab my mini dimensionals. We're going to use those on the back of our little flowers here, and use them as embellishments for our card. And one last one. Okay, and there is my third alternate for the June paper pumpkin kit. Thanks for stopping in today. This was Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. You can give this video a thumbs up and share it with your card making friends. And if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell, you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. And of course, if you're in the United States, please do some of your shopping in my Stampin' Up store. Have a great day. Bye.